Welcome back to our Steven. My phone vibrated, but I have no new notifications. And today, from someone who called a friend's pregnancy an accident to their face, to a mother-in-law who forgot her son-in-law is a grown adult, we get to decide if any of these people are jerks, all starting with a post titled, "Am I the jerk for refusing to go to my sister-in-law's baby shower and the rest of the family is following?" This started soon after my brother married Ruby. At the time, everyone seemed to really like her, and my older sister and I were part of her bridal party. Her wedding was around 5 years ago. Soon, they were talking about trying to have kids, and they were struggling with infertility issues. Ruby was quite upset, but it got a lot worse when my older sister, she was 26 at the time, got pregnant. Ruby was snappish and mean to my oldest sister, and people tried to be very mindful since she was struggling. When the baby was born, Ruby didn't send anything. I got pregnant my senior year of college. It was an oops baby, and I only told my mom because I was unsure what to do. I was a heavy drinker at family events, and when I wasn't drinking, my grandma joked that I must be pregnant, and my face gave it away. That's how it came out. I didn't plan to tell my family like that. Ruby, in short, lost her crap at me. She yelled at me about how I don't deserve a kid and called me a lot of names. My mom tried to make her stop, but she yelled at her also and told my mom that she deserved the stillbirth she had. The whole thing was horrible. When I gave birth and I posted pictures online, she made a post saying that some people don't deserve kids. She has not apologized. The issue, Ruby is pregnant and she's having her baby shower. All the women in the family got an invite. I talked to my mom about it and decided not to go. My mom's also not going, and everyone seems to be following my lead on this. We all RSVP'd no, and my brother called me asking me to come. I told him no, and it started an argument. He says his wife has been crying about being hated by the family and wants everyone to make up. I told him that isn't my problem, and this is her fault. He wants me to suck it up and come still, and has texted me multiple times about it. I know if I don't go, no one else will, especially since my mother hates Ruby after that argument. Edit because people asked, "No, we probably won't have a relationship with the baby if nothing changes. I already don't allow my kid near her. I have a strict, if you're a jerk to me, you don't have access to my kids." Sister has the same. Mom will probably not be a grandparent to the child either. She will not put up with someone she hates to have access to a kid. She's not that type of person. So personally, I definitely think OP's not the jerk here. Not that it probably will ever happen based on the history of Ruby's behavior, but I almost wonder how OP would feel if Ruby came forward and apologized to OP and said, it was incredibly wrong of me. I acted out because I was feeling some type of way. If they acknowledge the elephant in the room, would OP be willing to forgive that? Or considering how nasty the things Ruby said were, is it unforgivable? A user named DancerMom left a comment saying, "Not the jerk. What did your brother get for you and your sister when your babies were born? He doesn't get a free pass because of his gender. His wife treated both of you awfully and never apologized or made amends." The OP replied, "My brother congratulated us in private." It was really clear this was only from him because she was making remarks in person before oldest sister's birth and online with me. A user named Introvert Superhero left a comment asking, "How is she with you and your side kids? Does she pretend they don't exist, or is she mean to them?" This is also an indicator of how things will be. If she's a mean aunt but expects everyone to fawn over her kid, that will be extremely toxic. It's probably best to tell your brother once and for all that until Ruby can take full accountability for her behavior, everyone on your side has collectively decided to protect themselves from her behavior. The OP responded, "I don't allow her near my kid, and neither does my sister. I don't allow people who were jerks to me around my kid, which has been pretty easy to do since my mom doesn't invite her to holidays anymore. She doesn't allow jerks in her house," her exact words. And speaking of extremely toxic, if you want to help decide whether or not more extremely toxic people are the jerk or not, it would be awesome if you could hit those like or subscribe buttons down below. Our next story is, "Am I the jerk? My wife and I came home at 3 a.m. and my mother-in-law acted like we were 16 sneaking into the house. My 41-year-old male spouse, 42-year-old female and I had plans to go hiking and have dinner with friends. We made our kids, 16-year-old male and 12-year-old female, sandwiches for lunch and called my spouse's mom and asked to bring the kids dinner because we would be gone into the evening. We also told the kids that we would be out late. We've left our kids at home alone multiple times and we fully trust them. We just wanted to make sure they had something decent instead of warming something up, hence asking mother-in-law to bring food. Not once did we ask her to stay, nor did we expect her to. We've told her many times you can stay and watch TV due to her not having internet if she wants, but she never has to stay. My spouse and I have an amazing day with great friends, and after dinner, they wanted to go back to their place to hang out more. Next thing we know, it's super late and we get a call from mother-in-law asking where we are. We were just about to head home anyway and said that we would be home soon. Flash forward to arriving home, and my mother-in-law is sitting in the living room of my house, fuming. No TV on or anything. I'd love to say that she was sitting in the dark, but she wasn't that dramatic. She starts getting angry at us, commenting what time it is and how our 16-year-old shouldn't be up that late. Side note, we don't let him stay up that late all the time, but trying to manage a 16-year-old is hard enough as it is. The 12-year-old had already called it a night and was asleep. Now I'm a little upset because I don't like being accosted in my own home and being treated like a child sneaking in. I proceed to tell her that she did not have to stay, she was only supposed to grab dinner. She then tells us how disrespectful it is for not telling her where we were and why we were coming home so late. Now, if she had said this in a caring tone or even worried, this wouldn't be a problem. This came off in a very angry tone. Even when leaving, she slammed the front door. Now today, she's saying it wasn't about when we came home, but rather she was worried and we didn't tell her when we were coming home or where we were. She said, "You said you were going hiking and did dinner." That statement is truth. We just went with the flow and added more onto the evening. So, are we the jerks for not calling her and telling her we would be late even though we had no idea she would be staying past getting them dinner? So, I think this one is going to come down to the individual's perception of what communication should have gone down here. I could see how some people would say maybe OP's communication with the mother-in-law was lacking and they should have explained, don't wait up for us or something. But I do think the main issue here is the mother-in-law assumed some level of responsibility or control that was never intended to be given to her. Oh, you brought me over and you left me here hanging and then I had to play mom and get the kids in bed. What time are you trying to get your kids in bed? Blah, blah, blah. None of that was asked for of the mother-in-law. None of it had ever been asked for from the mother-in-law. So I feel like the judgment is kind of obvious here. A user named Crystal Howells left a comment saying, "Not the jerk. I do find having the mother-in-law bring over food odd. If they're old enough to be left alone, they're old enough to feed themselves, or order them food next time. I'd also feel weird dropping off food and then just leaving them, though I fully support them being left alone. Just don't involve mother-in-law next time. She overstepped, but you kind of asked for it for involving her." The OP replied, "Not wrong, won't make that mistake again, just thought she would like to see them. Usually order pizza, but my son works at a pizza place now. They can cook if they want, was trying to save them the trouble. Mother-in-law lives less than 10 minutes away, figured she would bring them food, hang out for a little, and then get back to her dogs." Another user named Foco Mojo asked, "You didn't let your kids know?" That's where I think the problem is. If your kids thought you were on a hike or a dinner outing, they probably thought you'd be home no later than 10. In this day of everybody has a cell phone, why didn't you let them know? They could have informed Granny and set her at ease. You are the jerk. The OP responded, "The kids are used to us coming in at 2 to 3 a.m. when we go out. Usually my son stays up because he's allowed to when we go out. They know what late means when we say it." Our next story is, would I be the jerk if I don't attend my friend's baby shower because they said my pregnancy was an accident and that I didn't deserve it? When I was pregnant with my first child 2 years ago, I had a really heavy feeling that I had to keep my pregnancy journey quite discreet because 2 of my friends, they are married, had difficulties with infertility. When my fiance and I were expecting, it was obvious that they were hurt and that after each encounter with us, they would cry themselves to sleep. So whenever we were together, I wouldn't bring up the pregnancy or even all of the great new thrills I was having. I don't have much friends, so it hurt me inside a lot not to be able to appreciate the moment as much, but I didn't want to hurt them just because the baby was existing inside me. but they talked to other friends of ours and said awful things such as, "The child was an accident." It wasn't. I prepared my body for everything and it just happened on the first try. They don't deserve a child as much as us. I literally waited my entire life just to begin my own family since mine was broken since even before my birth. I remember crying myself to sleep several times thinking about them also because I always daydreamed about our children growing up together, whether they adopt or use other medical options, but they were just mean. I always tried to calm my fiancé down by telling them that they're hurt and that they don't actually mean it, but it still hurt, and once confronted, they still didn't actually apologize, something that I don't forget. When we introduced our baby to our friend group for the first time, it wasn't at home, they never acknowledged it. Not even a "hello, baby," they just straight up acted as if it never existed. That night, I cried again. The next time they brought a gift, but they never actually said sorry. Anyway, now the couple are expecting, maybe twins, they had an insemination. They told us first. I hugged them, gave them a small gift I've prepared for this day, baby clothes and stuff, because I consider myself their friend and congratulated them. Now I have this sinking feeling inside because all the things I didn't get to do wholeheartedly because it was hurting them, they'll celebrate publicly and loudly. They love to show themselves. I know that it's my fault for not celebrating as much as I should have, but they were really hurt and it hurt me just as much. So now I'm thinking about not going to their baby shower when it's going to come up. Not out of a petty move, but because I'll be extremely hurt. I've learned to stand a bit more of my ground, so I know that I'll tell them my reasons one way or another, but I feel bad because I'm supposed to support them as a friend. So would I be the jerk if I don't attend their baby shower because they said my pregnancy was an accident and that I didn't deserve it? You know, I think it's only fair to OP and their fiancé if they don't attend because they're hurt. They did everything in their power to make sure that they didn't hurt their friends, so surely their friends should be able to stick by OP if OP's hurt in this situation, right? Probably not. The OP then posted a small update. Not actually an update, but I wanted to thank everyone commenting. I really didn't expect this much attention. I actually cried reading all your comments, and I told my fiancé also that I won't go to their baby shower, and he's 1000% on my side. I know that we'll be able to tell them our reasons of why, and that it's totally justified, but I also know that it's not going to be easy because, as one of you said, they will try and say that we can't be happy for them to our other friends. I won't ghost them, but I definitely won't be as present for them. My fiancé and I already know that they'll compare their children with ours with even everyday accomplishments. They actually already do it with us, buying a house, new car, renovations, etc. As another one of you said, it's exhausting. My fiancé made the effort to keep a relationship with them for me. He's deeply hurt by the situation, but unlike me, he isn't a people pleaser, I guess. I truly am grateful to have him. Our first year with the baby sure wasn't easy, but he was way more supportive than I could have hoped for. I know that you're all right about leaving them behind and understanding that they're not my friends, but it's truly hard to tell myself that after having a hard time making some. But I really do know that my family and my own self comes first. I'm just heartbroken. But thank you again for your comments, and I really wish for you all a beautiful life. A user named PopularCustard8519 left a comment saying, "You note that they haven't apologized, but it doesn't sound like you've had the conversation directly with them? There's been hurt feelings on all sides and tears all around, but it doesn't sound like there's been conversations at any point. I've been at a baby shower a week after my second miscarriage feeling grief for myself, but joy for my friend's joy. I accompanied another friend to get an abortion the same week I had an appointment booked for IVF discussion. Turned out I was already pregnant at this point but didn't know it yet, and felt miffed when a family member fell pregnant with a one-night stand during my struggle. In all these situations, I've been able to discuss my feelings with them, and we've been mindful of each other because we're friends, but not to our own detriment. I don't think anyone here is a jerk, but it doesn't sound like you and your friends communicate very effectively, and like much of the hurt could have been avoided by having a couple of lunch dates." The OP responded, "True, I didn't say it, but we did have dinner dates with them to tell them how we felt. The first time, they told us that they said those things because they didn't know that we were trying or thinking about trying. They announced that they were going to try since the beginning at a party. We didn't. We did things our way privately. We did hint that we weren't going to wait too long, but never shouted it in front of everybody. The second time, when the baby was born and that they ignored her existence, they explained that they didn't know it was coming along and that they weren't ready mentally. The third time, months after, during an outing with them only, I told them that they really hurt me and made me cry several times. They said again that they acted like that because they didn't know the whole story. I always told myself that it was normal since they were mourning the fact that they couldn't have children naturally. After reading all of your comments, I now understand my gut feeling that this is not a healthy friendship. Our next story is, am I the jerk for not wanting to give my cart up for free at Aldi's? So I don't know if Aldi's are everywhere or not. Their carts require you to put a quarter in them to use them, but you get your quarter back when you return them. It's to convince people to push their carts back to the front of the store rather than leaving them in the parking lot, etc. The unspoken rule is if someone grabs your cart from you before you turn it in, they give you a quarter for it. This lady asked for my cart and I asked if she had a quarter. She said no, so I shrugged and turned it in to get my quarter back. She got really upset, and some other people kinda side-eyed me and it made me feel like a jerk. I don't keep change or use cash and I just keep the quarter in my center console for when I shop there. So to me, if I gave the cart for free, I would be SOL the next time I shop there. So there is an Aldi's within shopping distance of me, but I haven't shopped there. So I can't say that I know the etiquette of Aldi's shopping carts. I think this is a situation where I have to rely on people in the comments both on the Reddit post and you that might want to chime in on the video. A user named ChildlessCatLady42 commented, if you shop at Aldi, you know that you have to have a quarter for the cart. For non-Aldi shoppers, the carts won't take bills, other change, or plastic. It must be a quarter. Most of the folks I know who shop at Aldi are pretty much cash-free and only own one quarter. I only own one quarter. For future reference, if someone is quarterless and broke, they can ask the cashier for a quarter. The OP responded, I keep seeing cashiers give quarters. I never knew that. Our next story is, am I the jerk for wanting my Spanish teacher to stop calling me by the Spanish version of my name? My name is John Paul, but I go by JP. All my friends, teachers, and family members call me JP. All that is, except for my high school Spanish teacher. In Spanish, J is pronounced as Jota and P is pronounced as Pay. So my Spanish teacher always keeps calling me Jota Pay in class instead of my real nickname, JP. When he first said Jota Pay, I found it a bit funny and laughed with the class. I thought it was a one-off remark by my teacher. But he kept calling me Jota Pay, even beyond the first day of class, and it's getting annoying now. I once asked him after class if he could please call me JP, but my teacher refused, saying this was Spanish class and that Jota Pay was the Spanish equivalent of my name. He said he wasn't calling me any rude words, he was just translating the pronunciation of my two-letter English name to Spanish. Am I the jerk for not wanting my teacher to keep calling me Jota Pay? Even if it's harmless, I just don't like it and prefer JP. I live in the USA. Now, maybe I'm the odd one out here, but I actually kind of feel like OP is not the jerk here. And the only reason I say that is because it's OP's name, even if it's a nickname, even if it's just two letters, that's what OP wants to be called, JP. I feel like it's kind of akin to if somebody from Germany moved to the United States and their last name is Wagner, which is spelt W-A-G-N-E-R, and they wanted people to say Wagner instead of Wagner. They wouldn't be the jerk. It's sort of like just about respecting the person's identity. Wouldn't you want to try to be respectful and identify somebody by the name they chose? I haven't heard of people in the UK referring to the rapper Jay-Z as JZ. A user named OKPilot left a comment saying, "You're in Spanish class learning Spanish. We all had ethnic names in language class. Why not go by Juan, John, your first name? You are the jerk for the I live in the USA remark, usually followed by speak English. Lighten up." Another user named Facetious Tomato left a comment saying, "Nobody's the jerk. I get that you would rather be JP, but he is calling you by your name in Spanish class. If he did this in math, or if he only does it with you, he would be the jerk, but in this situation, he's doing his job, speaking Spanish in a Spanish lesson. I think it was fair of you to ask, but in Spanish class we speak Spanish is also fair rule in my opinion, though I'm expecting to be downvoted to oblivion by people who feel like personal preferences should be respected in every situation, above all else. Another user named The Fisherman's Wife 22 commented, "These comments are so weird. Everyone I've ever met in the States had Spanish and had a Spanish name in said class. Every state, every friend, every family member. I guarantee if this kid was being honest, he would tell you the rest of the class has a name too." Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my sister to stop mommyjacking every conversation and to let me talk about myself? My sister has 2 kids, 4 years old and 1. Ever since she got pregnant about 5 years ago, she pivots every conversation to pregnancy, breastfeeding, her kids, etc. We have a family group chat, and it happens anytime I try to text about something, no matter how important. When people are responding to me, she brings up something about being a mother and everyone drops what I was saying and moves on to her. It's been annoying me for a while. This has happened for pretty much any conversation that happens. It only doesn't happen if she's asleep or not on her phone, so that's not often. She did it after I got engaged, when I was talking about my new job, when I'm talking about my health, when I bought a house, etc. At the start of this week, I found out intense restructuring is happening at the company I work at, and my job situation is up in the air. I've obviously been very stressed about it and wanted to vent and get advice from family members who have been in the workforce longer than I have. After no messages all day, I text the group chat. I sent a couple of messages back and forth with a couple people in the group. Then my sister sends a picture of her baby talking about how he wants some milk. Conversations then turned to be about the baby, and I just got really upset because it happened once again, especially because I could tell by the lighting in the picture that it was taken hours earlier. I privately texted her asking, "For once, can a conversation be about me without you mommyjacking it?" She told me I need to grow up and that not everything is about me. She apparently then called our mom to tell her about it, and my mom told me I was a jerk to send that text and that I needed to lighten up. I'm assuming word got around because now no one will respond to anything I say in the group chat. Am I the jerk for telling my sister to stop mommyjacking every conversation and to let me talk about my life? I don't think OP's the jerk here, but I wonder if the correct tactic was going to her in saying that, or if the better tactic would have been going individually to the other people in the group chat and putting out a little feeler just to see how they felt about it. Sort of, in a way, control the narrative yourself before she could control the narrative and say, "Oh, OP hates my baby and is attacking me for wanting to talk about them." A user named Historine Heroine commented, "Not the jerk. But I would leave the chat and not come back when they pull the surprise Pikachu." VOP responded, "If I don't say anything for a few days, they wonder where I am. Or if I don't update them on something big in the chat and they find out later, they wonder why I didn't tell them." Another user named Living Ear commented, "Why aren't you contacting family members individually to seek advice or vent? You know your sister will hijack any conversation she's privy to, so if you want the focus to be you need to stop having these conversations in a group chat. Everybody sucks here because it's tiring when people make their kids their entire personality." VOP responded, "It's just kind of the nature of the group chat and our relationship with everyone in it. We will all vent or talk about things in the chat, but my sister only does it to me when I bring something up, not anyone else. I'm the youngest, so I wonder if she doesn't do it to the others out of respect because they're older than her, but for me, I'm younger, so I don't count." Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my sister you're selfish and canceling her engagement dinner at my place? I have a younger sibling, and it seems like I'm always helping her. In college, I would help her with essays. I would listen to her problems. If she got stuck somewhere, I would go out and pick her up. She's 24 now, and it's pretty clear that she doesn't reciprocate helping out, or does any favors for family. My brother and I have both noticed it. I had a conversation with her about it, and she said she would do better. Recently, she asked if I could use my house for her engagement dinner, and I agreed. It was a big favor in my opinion, and I've been helping plan it. My sister lives very close to my kids' daycare. I left work, and on the way home, there was a huge crash on the highway. I wasn't moving at all. It took me 4 hours to get home. My husband was also stuck in it. The daycare called asking where I was, and I told them that I'm trying to get there. They bill an extra $100 every 30 minutes that you're late. I called my sister and asked her to pick up the kids and just hold on to them for a few hours until I can grab them. She told me no and that she wanted to relax tonight. I told her I really need her to do this favor because I was stuck and it didn't seem like I would be moving anytime soon. I told her I'll Venmo her the money for the daycare but to please pick them up. She told me no again and hung up. I ended up calling my mother-in-law who's an hour away and she was able to pick the kids up and stay at our place until we got back around 9. I was in traffic for 4 hours. To be honest, I've been ticked since that happened last Thursday. I've helped her over and over again and she could do me a simple favor when she's literally 10 minutes away from the daycare because she wanted to relax. I talked it over and my husband and I both agreed we were done helping her. I sent her a text that said family is supposed to help each other and it's become clear that she only ever wants help and is not willing to help. I told her I will not be hosting her engagement party and will not do her any favors anymore. She called and we got into a huge argument where I called her selfish and she called me petty. I want an outsider's opinion because I am ticked about this whole thing. I think in general OP's pretty valid here. I think the one thing is that is a massive thing to just cancel on the whim. When OP did commit to helping host that engagement party, in a way, I could see this justifiably being everybody sucks here, only because OP should never have accepted it to begin with, knowing that their sister doesn't reciprocate any help. But it's also obvious how the sister is a jerk too. A user named Silver Respond left a comment asking, "Info, when is the engagement party?" If she's already reserved catering or if it's too late for her to change venues, this might be going a bit hard and receive mixed reactions from your family. Otherwise, I agree that you are not the jerk and are completely justified in your response. The OP responded, "The engagement party is in about 2 weeks. I don't care if it costs her money and she needs to cancel the caterers. It's not my problem. It won't cost the guests anything, so I don't care if she's screwed. She can figure it out. My mom's on my side with this, so I don't care. She literally just cost me $400. Our next story is, am I the jerk for refusing to share food with my girlfriend? The Lord of the Rings is doing a theatrical rerun in my city, so me, 27-year-old male, and girlfriend, 27-year-old female, decided to go watch The Two Towers Extended Edition last night. We do not currently live together. There's a bar that I really love right next to the theater. I asked if we could go to this restaurant after the movie because I really wanted to get this specific dish. It's lattice-style fries that are fried in beef tallow, covered with green onions, bacon, house seasoning, and comes with the best hollandaise sauce I've ever tasted in my life. You can get fries for 1, smaller portion, or fries for 2, much larger portion, for a couple extra dollars. She didn't realize that the movie was nearly 4 hours long and it ended at around 10 p.m. By this time, she said she was tired and didn't want to go to the restaurant anymore. I said that's okay and asked if I could order my fries to go. She said that's fine. I asked her if she wanted any and she said no, so I ordered the fries for 1. I checked with her again before I ordered and she said she 100% didn't want any. We went to pick up the fries, she caught a whiff of it and asked if she could have a few. No problem, they are very delicious and I let her have some. She then asked if we could sit outside the restaurant to eat the whole thing together. I said no. I asked you if you wanted to have some and you said no. And if you wanted to eat some, you should have told me so I could have gotten the fries for 2, and I don't want to share the fries for 1 as it's a smaller portion. She got really upset and said I'm being selfish for refusing to share my fries. I said that yes, I am being selfish, but in this case I really wanted the fries and just being honest because I don't want to share in this instance. She has since cooled down, but this morning we had a call and she said that next time I should just share it with her, and I said I'm happy to share anytime, but not in cases like this, and she should be more careful about saying what she wants. She's upset with me again now. So, am I the jerk? Yeah, the OP is not the jerk here. To be honest, I've even heard in situations like this, you should probably just go ahead and order an extra small size or the next size up. That way, you either end up with some extra fries that you can still enjoy, or you end up looking like a very thoughtful, clutch boyfriend or something. A user named Pug Grumbles left a comment saying, "Not the jerk." For the people here saying, "You should have just bought it anyway," no, that just reinforces annoying behavior. She's an adult. If she really was that hungry, they could have ordered another single portion. And speaking of ordering another portion, if you want another portion of Am I the Jerk Here stories, why not check out the video on the left of the screen right now? Or if you missed my latest video, you can check that out on the right of the screen right now. That said, I'll serve you up another portion next time with some more stories.